In this video, I'm going to go over how this operations management class is laid out in Blackboard. So the first screen that you will see is the Start Here orientation screen, which is this tab. You need to go into that folder. And then at the top, there's a little bit of information about what is laid out in this page and the course description and so on. Now, I have listed some 6 tasks in this folder, and you have to complete all the 6 tasks before you go to the class schedule, which lays out the delivery of the course content and assessments and so on. So, task number 1, you have a few videos, one of which I'm recording right now, that will be made available in that folder. So you have to watch those videos, and then you need to look at the syllabus. You have to read the syllabus from top to bottom and understand all the requirements that I have laid out in the syllabus. And if you have any questions on anything on the syllabus, let me know. And I have a separate video going over the syllabus as well. So take a look at the syllabus and then watch the video along with it. Now the third task is to buy MyOM Lab Access code, and there are 3 options that you have. So if you click that, it will show you what those 3 options are. Now you can get an access code for MyOM Lab, and that comes with the e-text for you. So you don't have to buy textbook separately. You have the code, and that's all you need. But if you want to have a paper copy as well as the e-text, then you have 2 options. Either you can have a loose leaf or a hard copy. So make sure that you look at the ISBNs and buy the correct option that you want to have. And MyOM Lab is a requirement because the couple of assessments in this class will be offered through MyOM Lab. So you have to have MyOM Lab access. That's not optional. And here is a link to MyOM Lab to buy the code. And then there are some accessibility and getting started on MyOM Lab videos from Pearson that I have made available there. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is that you need to get started in MyOM Lab right away. Even if you don't have your financial aid, it doesn't matter because you get no payment access for 2 weeks. So you can get registered, get your access to MyOM Lab without making a payment. But of course, within 2 weeks, you do need to make the payment. Otherwise, your access will be blocked after 2 weeks. And when you do register, make sure that you follow one of the links that I have provided, and that will take you right to the correct course. So this is the course title and this is the course ID. Now if you go to MyOM Lab directly, bypassing Blackboard, then you have to make sure that you have the correct course selected. So that's the reason why I would strongly recommend that you start from Blackboard from here. You can either use the MyOM Lab tab right here, and then you have the course home link and so on, or you can go to the textbook link and then you can go to the Pearson MyOM Lab from this link also. So if you use one of these links, then you will get to the correct course in MyOM Lab. Then the 4th task is to read and understand the time commitment. Okay, and then you need to post an introduction. And then I have a grade calculator set up, which is an Excel file. Download that, and that gives you a comprehensive view of all the assessments from each chapter, how much they are worth, and everything is laid out there. So you can have a comprehensive idea as to what is expected. So once you've completed all that, then you go to weekly schedule, and I have arranged the weekly schedule obviously for each week, going from week 1, which has only 5 days, starting from Wednesday going till Sunday, and then we have 7-day weeks 2 through 6, and then the last week has only 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. That's it. Now some weeks we will have 2 chapters covered, like week 1 and week 3. The rest of the weeks we will have only 1 chapter per week. If you have 2 chapters in a week, then the first chapter will be due on Thursday and the second chapter will be due on Sunday. If you have only 1 chapter per week in a given week, then it will be due on Sunday. So let's take a look at what we have within the week. So I'll go over one with 2 chapters in it. Okay, so here is week 1. Week 1 we have 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is due on 5/17. Chapter 2 is due on 5/20. So go into chapter 1 due, chapter 1 folder. Then we have the learning objectives, okay, and how the learning objectives will be tested, assessed, and then class materials. You need to download the PowerPoint file when you watch the introductory videos, and then you need this document. You have to print this document so that you can work the problems out when you're watching the video as the guide. So class work must be done. You need to do the work actually. So watching it any number of times is not sufficient to fully understand the concepts. You need to do the work yourself. So instead of saying I watched the videos, a number of times, you need to really actually work. And then only if you simply watch it, you have not fulfilled the task. Only when you do the work in pieces, in paper and pencil with the video as the guide, then only you have completed the task. So once you have completed the task, okay, so well, these are the class materials, and here is the class activities. So usually it'll have 3 activities, and the 4th one is the summary of the assessment. First activity is of course reading the chapter, and then watching and completing the activities in the class lessons. So read the chapter, do the classwork. Okay, classworks are listed here in this folder. I'll come to that in just a second. After that, you need to go back to the work and review and make sure that anything that you have missed or something, you go back and review. So analyze and synthesize and make sure that you understand all the concepts quite well. Okay. After having completed all these activities, only after having completed all these activities, you need to go to the assessments. So here is the class lessons. You have in this chapter, we have 2 lessons. So click chapter 1 class lessons, and you'll see this lesson has 3 videos, 4 videos, and this is where you'll use your PowerPoint file and follow along. And here I worked out problems. In lesson 2 involves working problems out, and you see I'm working out problems here. So here is where you'll use the Word document and then work the problem along with me and pause the video and replay if you need to. Make sure that you understand all the concepts. Once you have completed these lessons, so once you have watched and completed number 2, then you do the analyze and synthesize. Once that is done, then there are 3, and each chapter will have 3 assessments. Mastery points, that's in my lab. Chapter test, that's in my lab. And homework is in Blackboard. So click chapter 1 assessments, and you have a link to mastery points that will take you to my lab, and you can work on the mastery points. And then you have the test. You click this, that will take you to my OM lab, and you can take the test. And then here is your homework. So once you've completed chapter 1, then you can move on to chapter 2, which is, so in week 1, so we have the second chapter, which is chapter 3. Again, chapter 3 is laid out exactly the same way. Learning objectives and class materials. So here we have some more class materials that you need. And then the class activities, you read the chapter and then watch and complete the lessons. The lessons are here. And once you have done 1 and 2, then go back and review and analyze and synthesize. Make sure that you have a critical understanding of the problems. And then you do your 3 assessments: mastery points, chapter test, and homework. Now, if you have a week with just 1 chapter, so let's look at that. So you'll have only 1 folder under it. And then it'll have the chapter name and when it is due. And then if you go in there, again, it is laid out exactly the same way: learning objectives, course materials, and then the activities. There are 2 activities: read, watch, and complete the work, and then analyze and synthesize, and then you do your assessment. So this is how the course material is laid out. And then if you want to go to my OM lab directly, and there are links I have provided, then the textbook, study plan, and the multimedia library, and so on and so forth. And here is the syllabus. If you have to refer back to syllabus at any time, you can go there. And here is the textbook tab that gives you the 3 options that you have for the textbook. Then we have the instructor page. Okay, here you have my contact information, and if you need to do a face-to-face Zoom session, how to do that, and a brief introduction of me. And then here is a discussion forum, and I have 3 discussion forums: 1 for your introductions, 1 for general discussions that may or may not be related to the class, and anything about questions about chapter, homework, or problems, you will post it here in chapter Q&A. And then there are other tabs, institutional tabs right here, and you can take a look at those. So this is how the course is laid out. Okay. Once you have completed the initial orientation tasks, you will mostly spend your time in weekly schedule, going from 1 week to the next until the end. If you have any questions, let me know.